TV.
This is Paul Golding reporting for BNP TV. We're here in South East London, in Nunhead, at the home, or the second home, of Jacqui Smith, our Home Secretary. I'm joined with Greater London Assembly Member Richard Barnbrook. I'm also joined by Michael Barnbrook, who's the BNP's top sleaze buster. I'm sure he'll tell us more about that in a minute. Richard, can you tell us why we're here today?
Yes, Jacqui Smith, the Home Secretary, the person that should be keeping moral values as well as law and order in place. Her husband was discovered to be renting pornographic films. That in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, you would think that the Smith family will be holding higher morals on those grounds. The thing that really is quite disgusting and quite disturbing is that the pornographic films hired out were actually paid off by Jacqui Smith's expenses. You would have thought she had more sense, or her husband had more sense. Not only that, we're finding again through London and across the nation, MPs claiming finances. These are taxpayers' money in this time of recession, to claiming finances that they really don't need. One minister in the north of London is actually paying for their parents' house. I wonder if Jacqui Smith is actually paying the way for her sister's house here. The fact of the matter is, in this time of recession, this taxpayers' money should not be used on frivolities, and the fact is that this pornographic episode with Jacqui Smith's husband means that she now has to go. We've got to tighten our belt. Politicians like myself and other politicians have got to lead by example. We should not be taking money unnecessarily so, and definitely not for pornography.
Absolutely. In credit crunch Britain, hard-working British families are struggling to pay their bills, they're struggling to stop their houses being repossessed, and they must be sickened by seeing the leaders of this country fiddling their expenses, claiming for second homes and pornographic material at our expense while we struggle.
There's no doubt. Jacqui Smith now has got to do the honourable thing, and she has to go.
Absolutely. I'm also joined by Michael Barnbrook, who's the BNP's top sleaze buster. Mike, can you tell us a bit about what you've done in the past to combat the sleaze in the parliamentary system?
Yes, it started in 2002 when I was responsible, along with a couple of other people, for Michael Trend, who was a Tory Member of Parliament. The allegation was that he had misappropriated £100,000 of additional cost allowance. Mr. Trend was forced to stand down at the next general election. Since then I've also been responsible for Derek Conway having to stand down from Parliament, and also I was the person responsible for reporting Sir Nicholas and Anne Winterton for a similar offence, and my understanding is that they will not be standing at the next general election. I have also written to the Parliamentary Commissioner 3 times about Miss Smith. He's refused to accept my complaint, and I suspect it's because I signed the letter off as being a member of the British National Party. But my 3rd letter to him, I pointed out that if he came across any suspicion of criminal misconduct by Miss Smith, he had a duty under parliamentary procedure to pass that matter to the Commissioner of Police for an independent investigation. I've also written to Sir Paul Stevenson asking him to liaise with the Parliamentary Commissioner with regard to my complaint against Smith, because as a retired Metropolitan Police officer, I strongly suspect there is evidence that there may have been an offence committed against Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006. But I say no more because I haven't had a response from the police yet as to whether they are going to investigate the matter. But it's in the hands of the Economic and Specialist Crime Unit at New Scotland Yard. Also, you may be aware that on Sunday, on the front of the Mail on Sunday, there was an allegation against Mr. Harry Cohen, Member of Parliament for Leighton and Wanstead, who's trying to convince us that his main home is a static caravan on the island of Mersey on a non-residential caravan park, and also a 1-bedroom property in Colchester. And it's interesting to note, if you look at the register of members' interests, he's entered the house in Colchester, but put alongside it that it's occasionally rented out So one wonders how your main home can be a static caravan where you're not allowed to live for 12 months of the year, and a one-bedroom property where you're sharing with people renting your house. So again, I've written to the Parliamentary Commissioner, John Lyon, asking him to investigate the matter, and I've also written to Sir Paul Stevenson, again asking him to liaise and suggesting that there may well be evidence, especially as Mr Cohen on his own website specifically states that he lives in Leighton. So his main home, by his own admission, is in Leighton, and yet he's claiming an additional cost allowance on the basis that his home in Leighton is his second home. So by his own admission there is, as far as I'm concerned, there's a suspicion of a criminal offence, and the offence would be Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006, where you, by making false representation to obtain money. Again, obviously I wouldn't have had a response because it only went in yesterday. But we're doing everything we can to fight the sleaze. It's also interesting to note that the Parliamentary Commissioner is reported in the Mail on Sunday as having had 113 allegations reported to him in the first 3 months of office, and only one has been resolved to the benefit of the complainants, which leaves a lot to be desired in my case.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, Richard. Let's say the British National Party is the only political party in this country that has not got its snout firmly in the Westminster trough. We're not here to line our own pockets or for our careers. We're here to serve our country as best we can, and on June the 4th, all of the people out there of this country will have an excellent chance to kick the Westminster elite in the ballots by voting British National Party, and we've got a real chance of winning. Thank you.